Hey guys, it is ChessieFan3802 here, and today we are going to be doing another interesting video that doesn't involve trains, but today we're going to be taking a look at my entire movie and book collection. So the movies consist of both Blu-ray and standard release DVD, and then the books some are going to be in English and some are going to be in Japanese, so this ought to be interesting. So yeah. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so here is the first book here. This is the Ultraman Complete History book. This is a Japanese book, so of course I'm opening it from the wrong way, but this has a pretty interesting read-up on all the shows, I think up to the newest. So like Ultra Q here, Ultraman, and pretty much everything else. And then here's the back. But it's a pretty nice book. If you have Google Translate, this is a good book to read because it's got some valuable information on it. A lot of stuff that us in America cannot read, of course. Alright, the next book here is another book that is in Japanese, and I believe this is Ultra 8 Brothers, the Encyclopedia. So this has four of the old Ultraman, and four of the the newer Ultraman. So let's take a look at that. So here is, of course, Ultra 7, some pictures of some monster fights, Black King, and I forget that alien's name, but with Ultraman Jack. But some pretty nice information in here. If you have Google Translate, you can definitely read a lot of this. And it is very fascinating to see most of the Ultraman here. So it's a pretty nice book if you are a fan of this kind of thing. And then finally, for the Japanese books, this is the Ultra Monster Showa Encyclopedia. This is a great book. Very well done. Has all of the kaiju up until, I believe, Ultraman Powered, if I remember right. But it's got really some great information in it on a lot of the Ultra kaiju that appeared in the show. And sorry, I have a little struggle because it has a cover on it. But yes, another very nice book. Alright, so this one's a pretty big one. This is the Eiji Tsuburaya Master of Monsters book. This is an English printed book, but it has all that Eiji Tsuburaya did. So not just monsters like Godzilla, Ultraman, and all those guys, but it does have some other things like his famous war movies he did and other famous stuff. And it's got a pretty nice read-up on a Godzilla collection, or should I say Tsuburaya Productions collection in the back, which is pretty neat. It's got some very cool Japanese. I don't know what that says, but I like it. And then on the back, a picture of course, Mr. Tsuburaya filming. I believe that was... shoot, I can't remember where that picture's from, but I know it is from a Godzilla movie, which is definitely very neat. Alright, and then the final book we have here is Godzilla Frequently Asked Questions by Brian Solomon. And what's funny is if this is the same Brian Solomon, he writes a lot of train books, so how funny is that? This is a pretty nice book, very nice English translated. It's not translated, but it's written in English, but it's got some great information on some classic films. Just really nice book when it comes down to it. I'm very happy I purchased this, because I actually purchased this at Barnes & Noble's, which is definitely very nice. So yeah, great book. Alright, now it is on to the DVDs, of course. So, without further ado, let's get into that. And we're going to start with Godzilla movies, and then we'll go on to other stuff. Alright, so here's the first DVD set we have. This is really the only DVD set I own for the Godzilla movies. But this is the Godzilla collection. I believe this is brought to us by... shoot, what is the name of the company? It is the Toho Master Collection. Oh, boy. By Classic Media. Thank God. I figured it out. Alright, so this includes the original uncut Godzilla movie from 1954. A really nice looking case. This is an older set, actually. And of course, the Godzilla collection on the side and on the back end. So all the movies on here, we got Gojira, or Godzilla King of the Monsters. We got Godzilla Raids Again, Mothra vs. Godzilla, my favorite movie. Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster, my second favorite movie. Invasion of Astro Monster, All Monsters Attack, and Terror of Mechagodzilla. So you get some of the, definitely a funny mix of films on here. What I'll never understand is why they put All Monsters Attack on here and not Destroy All Monsters. I don't know if they couldn't get the rights to it, but Destroy All Monsters is definitely a better movie because All Monsters Attack is, I like Mania, but I can't stand him sounding like Opie. Yeah. Yeah, so that's the Godzilla collection, and we'll get on to the next DVD. Alright, next up here we have King Kong vs. Godzilla, which is a classic film to a lot of people. I'm not a huge fan of it. I think it is a little overrated. This is just the English version on the DVD here, but what I did hear, however, was that I think it was the Criterion Collection just released a Showa Godzilla film set that will include both the Japanese and English version, and I have only seen the Japanese version once, and let me tell you something, it's a lot better. But this is King Kong vs. Godzilla, and this got the tabs on the side of it. But there's the DVD, nothing special. But it's a decent movie if you want some kaiju action. I definitely like Godzilla's suit in this movie. I'm just not a huge fan of the movie as a whole, but it's pretty good. So yeah, King Kong vs. Godzilla. Before we go on, here's a little bit of a disclaimer. I don't own every single Godzilla film, especially in the original Showa era. So if there are some gaps, deal with it. Alright, next up here we have Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster, or Ebirah Horror of the Deep, as it was called in Japan. Now, in Japan, I think it was called Big Duel in the South Seas. But this is by Kraken Releasing. They made some really awesome DVDs. These are really good. But you got the film inside. But they released some Godzilla movies that don't get a lot of recognition, which I kind of like. But Godzilla on Monster Island, I know a lot of people think that it's a pretty bad movie, and I understand why, because it was originally supposed to have King Kong in it. But in my personal opinion, I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be. I don't think that it holds the action of some of the other movies. But what saves it for me is that they threw in Mothra, which I think is kind of cool. But honestly, the whole movie is... It's weird because Godzilla doesn't act like Godzilla. He kind of acts like King Kong. I mean, it's definitely an interesting movie. So if you haven't seen it, I check it out. But it's a pretty good movie. I like it. But yeah, let's move on to the next one. Alright, another Kraken DVD. This is Godzilla vs. a Small Monster, Godzilla vs. Ghidorah. So yeah, this is a pretty nice DVD. It has, of course, the movie in it. This is a very weird film. And if you're a Godzilla fan, you know what I'm talking about. This film is just weird. So, I don't really know how to explain that, personally. But it definitely has some of the more weirder acting. Not just acting, but the movie in total is really kind of like a save the earth, haha, kind of thing with drugs. And I don't know how to say it. There's never really any drugs mentioned in the movie, but it is a drug-infested film. It really is. It is a weird... Somebody who was making this film was on acid. I'm telling you they were, because this is a weird freaking film, okay? First of all, Godzilla looks, like, ridiculously... I mean, it's the 68 suit, but it's modified. He looks ridiculous. His eyes are ridiculous looking. Hedorah, on the other hand, looks like he's been smoking some weed. And then, honestly, this is just a weird movie. Honestly. I won't get into any more of it. Check it out if you have never seen it. Even if you're not a Godzilla fan and you're on here for trains, just watch it. It is a flip fest of a movie. It's just weird. And you know, he's smoking smokestacks. It is just a weird movie. But, yeah, that's Godzilla vs. a Small Monster for you. Alright, so this is my final Showa film from Kraken Releasing, or my final Showa film of Godzilla in total. This is Godzilla on Monster Island, or Godzilla vs. Gigan. One of my least favorite Godzilla films, but it was the only one I could find. Okay, the only thing that saves this movie for me is King Ghidorah, okay, because who doesn't like him? This movie is a stock footage festival. I swear I could sell merchandise having the stock footage that was in this movie. It's ridiculous. Constantly, in this film, you are seeing scenes from Invasion of Astro Monster, Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster, and I think even destroy all monsters. And there might even be some more. This is how ridiculous this movie is when it comes to stock footage. And even Mothra makes a brief appearance, and you want to know why that is? Stock footage. They didn't edit out Mothra and Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster for this movie. This is... Besides Gigan being in it, it is just a movie that is filled with added in footage from previous films that they try to blend in, but it doesn't work because first of all, the scenery is different. It's just weird, and it's one of them movies where it's kind of like, okay, this is kind of weird, but it is a cheesy film, and I'm saying that with this movie too. They're both cheesy, and they both complement each other equally. This one isn't the trip fest that Hedorah was, but this is definitely a weird movie, and honestly, I'm gonna rip on it a little bit. I don't really like it that much. I never really liked this movie. I think it's just a piece of junk, honestly. And I know I'm gonna get ripped on because there's a lot of Gigan fans out there, and that's not why I don't like the movie. I love Gigan. I think he's a great monster, but the movie is just weird, and it just shouldn't. It shouldn't have been. Gigan should have got better recognition than this film, is what I'm saying. So yeah, that's what I think of Godzilla vs. Gigan. Alright, taking a break for Godzilla for a minute, we have another classic giant monster. Gamera, the giant monster. Yes, he is a turtle, if you didn't know this. And this is the Gamera from the original film. This is the original movie. It's a decent film, definitely one to check out. It's not as good as the original Godzilla, but it's worth a watch. It's pretty good. But definitely a very interesting tale of science fiction. Gamera, I think, is cool as crap. I'll get into more of him later. But this is just a cool film, and definitely one that you should check out. Of course, we've got Japanese Wilford Brimley down here, but besides that, this is a good movie. I love it. I absolutely love this movie. And here's just another release of Gamera that came out. I don't know who makes this. This is called Gamera the Invincible, which was, of course, the American title for the film. Not a good film. It's the only one I can find with an English dub, though. The other one doesn't have that, but, this is a decent release. If you're just trying to check it out for like $2, this is the way to go. Alright, and then we got one more Gamera film, and I'll save the rest for later. Gamera vs. Barugon. Definitely a very good movie in Japan. Very good movie here. Very fun to watch. I thoroughly enjoyed this film. Thoroughly enjoyed this movie. It's great. I love it. I just absolutely love it. Alright, now on for Godzilla's Heisei era. A classic film that we are going to talk about right now. One that I love. And I'm not a huge Heisei fan, but this film is just as good as it gets. I don't care what you say. Love the Godzilla suit. Love it. Just love it. I love the film, the acting. It is a great movie. And that is none other than The Return of Godzilla. Just a classic film. And I know if Goji Fan 93 was here, he'd be telling me how much he liked it. It's a great film. I don't care. I love this thing. I swear. I'm not being sarcastic when I say that. I literally adore this movie. It is a classic. It was the first film I ever saw. I think it might have been it was maybe the first or second I ever saw, and I just absolutely love it. The poster. Look at that poster. Come on. It doesn't get any cooler. I just love this movie. And honestly, the main reason I like it is because there's no other monster in it, which is great, at least to my recognition. I don't think there is. I mean, there's a machine that the Japanese make, but besides that, this is about as close to 54 as you're going to get when Godzilla. This is really the only Godzilla film besides the original that doesn't feature a monster, and I love it. You just get some great Tokyo destruction going on. This is just a great film. I don't care what it is, great, and it always will be. It is I love it so much. Alright, so this is a dual release DVD of Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah and Godzilla Mothra the Battle for Earth. These are both other Heisei films that are alright. I do like Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah. It's got a crappy disc in it, but I do like Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah. Godzilla Mothra and Battle for Earth is good. The only thing that saves it is Batra. Besides that, these are two pretty good movies. Definitely worth a little bit of a chat. They're pretty nice. So yeah, definitely check these out. They're good Heisei movies if you like a little more specific monster action going on. Finally, for my DVD Heisei films, we have Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2, 50th Anniversary Edition. Good film. I do like this one. Like I said, it doesn't beat 84 by any means, but it is pretty good. I like Rodan. Rodan makes an appearance, which is kind of nice. I think it was the only time Rodan ever made an appearance in the Heisei era, so pretty good film. Love it's on a 50th anniversary disc. Yeah, it's a good film. Alright, so this is the American Godzilla. Not the one from 1998, because we don't speak of that. This is the 2014 Godzilla movie, which I have mixed emotions about. I thought it wasn't bad. I don't like the Mutos, though. I don't like that storyline. But this is a good release of the film. I believe this is a Walmart exclusive cover, which is kind of nice to have. It's pretty nice. Godzilla definitely looks pretty bad butt in this movie. So yeah, Godzilla 2014, pretty good movie. Because I am an idiot, and I don't do much things right. Guess what I forgot to show you? Alright, let me bring it out. I forgot to show you these two movies. I just totally forgot. They're standing right next to me, and I look at them, and I put King Kong vs. Godzilla next to the movie. I'm an idiot. Anyways, this is Godzilla King of the Monsters and Godzilla Raids Again. Classic films. I don't care what anybody can rip. Anybody can rip on Godzilla Raids Again. I don't care. I love it. I think that is just a great film. I love Angiers. I love it. And then we have, of course, Gojira 1954, which is too amazing for words. It's another classic film. But these are the two I forgot to show you guys. So I know you're probably wondering, what the heck? He skipped to King Kong. I knew these were in the set, but you know they get their own little time. They're just great movies, and released on this type of DVD, the quality is unmatched. And the original Godzilla is great. I love the cover on that DVD. I think that's just awesome. And then of course Godzilla Raids Again is just another classic film, and I don't care. People can rip on Godzilla Raids Again, but I love it. I just do. It was, I remember when I first saw it. First of all, the suit, Godzilla's suit in that movie scares the shite out of me. I don't even. Oh, it scares me to death. But used to anyway. But the Godzilla 1954 is definitely a creepy film. The music is spot on. That's unfortunately what Godzilla Raids Again lacked. It was a rush production, but still a good movie. But yeah, so these two I forgot to show you because I am an idiot. Okay? So yeah. Alright, moving on. Alright, now on to some of my favorite stuff in my entire collection. And that is my Ultraman collection on DVD. And we are not nearly done because I haven't even done the Blu-rays yet. So hold your horses before you have a stroke because of these. So yeah. Alright, without further ado, let's move on to the Ultraman DVDs. Alright, starting off here, we have a show that actually was before Ultraman, but to me is just as good in every way, or better, and that is Ultra Q. Now, Ultra Q is just, oh, I love it. I just do. And I know I say that with a lot of these, but this is a good show. This is by Mill Creek. This is the DVD set with all the DVDs in it, and I just love this movie. It is so, I love this show. It's so much fun. But yeah, by Mill Creek, and they just released this on a Blu-ray and I believe a Steelbook edition, which I am planning on getting that and Return of Ultraman on the Steelbook edition. Just a great movie, and just a movie. I'm so used to saying that. Great show in total. It earns some things. So Ultra Q, yeah, this is definitely something to check out. It's the Japanese Twilight Zone. Next up here, we have the superhero from Nebula M78, and that is Ultraman. This is a complete series. This is the older release by Mill Creek, with, of course, I'm not going to take all those out, but it has like 6 DVDs in it. 39 episodes of Ultraman, which was, of course, the original running. It's a good one. It's definitely a very good show. I love it. I love this movie. I love this show. It's great. Next, we have the other show that came after Ultraman, which I think is just as good. That is Ultra 7. Now, unfortunately, this DVD does not have every episode. And the reason why that is let me set this down, I'll get into that. Okay, so it has every episode except for, I think it's 1 or 2. And the reason why that is because in Japan, they banned the one episode because it had people that looked like they were disfigured, and they didn't want to relate that to people who had been disfigured in nuclear blasts from Hiroshima or Nagasaki or any Lucky Dragon and all that stuff. They didn't want that to happen. So I very much respect that, and I very much respect that Mill Creek did not release this DVD with those episodes, even though they would probably be very interesting to see. That's a lot of respect, and I very much appreciate that. But besides that, Ultra 7 is a classic. It is what came after Ultraman. It's definitely just as good. It has a different feel to it though. If you watch it, it's not like Ultraman. It's not kind of goofy. It's kind of more It's definitely very more serious. It's got that Ultra Q kind of feel with the superhero, but definitely a very nice DVD nonetheless.